A little bit about near the end of your tour. So, when you're getting ready to think, okay, I might make it home now, what's going to be what happens
Hmm.
next?
Yeah, we were a little surprised that our squadron was shutting down. We only got a couple weeks notice. Uh, Basically, all the lieutenants were sent home. The captains and above uh, stayed to get their 1 year in. Okay, it was a 1 year tour. Uh, for all the lieutenants, we got credit for it. It didn't matter. And basically, all of us were sent back to be forward air controllers. I went to Shaw Air Force Base in Sumter, South Carolina. Uh, but the trip home was interesting. Uh, Again, a packed airplane to Travis Air Force Base in California, uh, which was a really long day. We spent a couple hours in Japan, but not that we got to go anywhere. You basically got herded into a gated area and kept there like cattle. Uh, from Travis, that took us on a bus to San Francisco Airport, and I was going to catch a 747 to Dulles, where my family was. Uh, I will never forget walking through the San Francisco airport in my uniform in 1972, and went basically an area where the all the hallways connected, big central area, and walking through, and a young lady walked up to me and spit on me and said, baby killer and da 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 da. And I was just sort of shocked, you know, wasn't expecting that. Uh, and that was depressing. But what I also noticed is a lot of the people there would not look at you in uniform. It was the time in the US, the military suddenly wasn't highly thought of, at least in that part of it, California, which again was depressing. But then I got on the 747 and it was a red eye, took off late at night, flew all night, landed, daytime in Dulles, and it wasn't very full. And after I'd been on the airplane and we took off, the stewardess came up and said, "Are you just back from?" I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "Come with me." And we went to the back of the airplane where, there was the last section back there. Nobody was sitting there. She sat me down, and three of the other stewardesses came up, and the whole flight back, they basically poured champagne and talked to me, just had me talk about Vietnam. So it was that kind of, it was interesting. They were very supportive, and a lot weren't, sort of like our country today. It was just sort of divided.
Would you say it was that divided before you left, or did that kind of happen while you were gone?
No, that had been happening. That I remember being on the drill field at Tech, and protesters would come and basically yell at the cadets. Just, you got to be kidding me. We're in college, but it was a sign of the times.